Hi everyone, welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. And I'm joined by Terry today because we're going to be previewing Everton's Premier League match at home to Fulham on Sunday. Terry, first of all, are you confident going into this game?
Yeah, I suppose I am. you know, beat Tottenham, got a last gas point at Old Trafford, beat Leeds. I'm not saying, oh yeah, we'll just walk over Fulham. As they're a lot better than they have been here previously in the season, but getting players back from injury now, and I anticipate or I expect, I demand an Everton win because we've got to build on good results like the Old Trafford results and the Leeds win, but you can't drop points at home to Fulham if you want to do something in that scenario.
No, I think there is a level of confidence, but after that Newcastle game, which we all said was a banker, we lost that game 2-0. So yeah, I mean, obviously very different teams. Fulham known this season for wanting to sort of play under Scott Parker and want to play a bit more football. That's got to play into our hands, surely, hasn't it? Because if they come to Goodison and they want to play, we'll allow it because we've done it against teams that want to play. Tottenham in the FA Cup wanted to play with the ball. They wanted to score goals, and we ended up, hitting them on the break, and we were 3-2 up at half time. But Tottenham haven't got that level of ability that like a Chelsea or an Arsenal have, who've come to Goodison and tried to play that way. But that's got to play into our hands, surely, hasn't it? That game plan.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to. It sounds arrogant, this, and I don't mean it to be arrogant, but you've got to look at the Fulham team and just go, we're a better team than them. So if they want to attack us, we'll take advantage of it. If they want to sit in and defend them, we'll break them down because we've got better players. They can't boast like James Rodriguez or Richarlison or whoever in the attacking areas, and defensively they're nowhere near as good as us. They can't boast something about the defenders we've got. So I don't think we should be, hoping for them to play any particular way, because I think we should have the tools. If we want to go to Europe next season, we need to be beating Fulham at home. It's a dodgy season. You can't take any for granted. Really good teams have lost their own to, like Liverpool lost their own to Brighton. Like, it does happen. It's not to say it couldn't happen, but you want to be consolidating at this time. You want to be going into the Man City and Liverpool games off the back of a win, and there's no other way around that. I'm afraid if we don't beat Fulham, then it's a bad result.
100% we do, because if we're going to be going for Europe, these aren't games you can afford to lose, especially against a team like Fulham who come up and are trying to play the right way. The teams against Newcastle with Steve Bruce, everyone knows Steve Bruce's way of playing. Hitting us on the counter attack. They sort of played our way away from home, Newcastle, and I think a lot of people will compare it to that because Newcastle, you'd say, it a bit better than Fulham, but recently that's been, we've had some pretty tough games, home and away recently, and Newcastle, the one we lost, what you'd say was the one that you'd expect us to win. But this has got to be one of the games that we have to be getting 3 points in. Obviously, we'll all say I'd take a scrappy 1-0 win as long as we get 3 points, but this is the game we need to be showing a bit more flair, and I think we need to be winning this game by 3 or 4 if we're going to be, we need to be like, okay, big club Everton, we need to be polishing these teams off and putting them back on the shelf after 90 minutes, because a 1-0, obviously everyone takes it, it's 3 points, but I think we need to go right at them, and we need to play our way, but also, show off a little bit in the way that we need to be getting goals all around the team.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you've got to beat a team who's worse than you, but you can't. No one is that much better than the other teams in this division where you can just say, yeah, we'll go 4 or 5 past them. I would be happy with a 1-0. I wouldn't think that's scrappy. If you execute the plan to be solid and take your chance when you get it, that's fine by me. The days are long gone where you can go there. Not since maybe Derby County when they got a mid-table championship team in the Premier League. Like, gone are those days where you can just, not only should we be beating these, we should be beating these by a lot. maybe if they'd have carried on the way they started at the beginning of the season, Fulham, they looked really that bad, then maybe you could possibly say that, but I don't agree with you there. I think a 1-0 with a late goal, as long as it's to a plan and a strategy, is just as good as a 4-0 win. It doesn't work out like that, because we've been tested at times this season by some really, like West Brom put 2 past us. So this is a league that's full of teams who've got a lot of energy, high fitness, and a lot of work rate, and that's where we come unstuck against Newcastle. We need to match the work rate, because if we don't, we won't be winning at all.
Yeah, and Brighton put 2 past us as well. That game feels like a lifetime ago now, that back in October. But I just think in a game like this, I think every game in the Premier League's tough, but this is the game I expect if Everton to go on and just win convincingly. Maybe not, as you said there, Teddy, by a few goals, but just win convincingly as in having the strategy playing to it and being better than them for 90 minutes, because we might win 1 or 2-0 or 1-1, or we might not even win at all, but if we go out and we execute a plan and we're better than them, that's all I want to see. I want to see us be better than them from minute 1 to minute 90. Obviously, Fulham, I haven't seen too much of Fulham this season. I remember we beat them away at Craven Cottage, but what have you made of Fulham this season, Teddy? Because Scott Parker's come up. It's been rocky at times for them this season, but have you watched enough of them to really have an opinion? Because I know I haven't. Just it's interesting to talk about these other teams sometimes.
They're going to go down. I think the bottom 3 now is the bottom 3 done and dusted. I don't think any of the 3 were there. Sheffield United, Fulham, and West Brom. Don't think any of them are going to get out of it. But Fulham seem like they've got, I don't know, they seem like they've got more in them than the other 2. Like when remember that result they got against Liverpool, they're not dead and buried. You can just, sleep on them. They've got players who can, on the right day can hurt you. We've been, hurt by the likes of Mitrovic before, and, I know everyone's going to say this, and it's probably not going to happen because everyone's saying it, but Ademola Lookman, he'll turn up eventually against Everton, and it might be this one. So they've got some decent players, but I just don't think they're a good enough team to stay up. As bad as I thought they were going to be. The opening day against Arsenal, they were awful. They look like they wouldn't win a single game all season if they carried on like that. But they have improved from there. So, yeah, they're going to go down, but they're not as bad as I thought they'd be.
Yeah, I think ability-wise, they're the best of them 3, West Brom, Sheffield United and themselves. But I think the gaps they leave, I know they've got some decent standout players in there. Harrison Reed's been good at times this season. As you mentioned, Ademola Lookman as well. So, maybe I think there is opportunities for us at home to prove ourselves that we can score goals. But we need to start the game well. That's going to be the thing, because with Everton this season, it's starting halves. At times, that's been our weak point. Tottenham scored after 4 minutes the other night. There's probably Leeds scored at the beginning of the second half at Ellen Road. So I think we need to start both halves well. We need to assert some dominance over them. With regards to team news, any changes? Obviously, there are going to be changes from the Tottenham game, but what changes would you like to see? Would you like to see certain players come back in, and how should we sort of line up, do you think?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because some of the obvious ones aren't as obvious now. Like, you can't drop. I don't think Davies or Decore going anywhere, and rightfully so. But then drop Sigurdsson for Allen or Hammers. Like, some people would, but then others might not, because he contributed to a lot of the goals. I think it'll just come down to fitness. I don't think there'll be a tactical change. I think you might see Allen, you might see Andre Gomez, James. One we'll definitely see is there'll be no Calvert-Lewin. I don't know what they do with that. It seems like obvious that they'll just put Josh King in, but is he up to speed yet? They might put Richarlison down the middle and give Bernard the left-hand side after his performance the other day, or put Iwobi on the left and just put James on the right like he used to be.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a few changes because we went so long in this game and it was so frantic and had so much, so much basketball type football running one end of the pitch to the other. I think you'll probably see heavy rotation in this. Maybe not at the defensive side of things. I think you'll probably see 11 players, but I think the midfield and the attack, you might see, maybe even 3 or 4 changes.
Yeah, I think we need changes, especially the fact that we've played 120 minutes against Tottenham, City coming up, and also the derby. There's games to think about there. I'd like to see. Obviously, we know Calvert-Lewin's going to get a rest. That's going to be a relief. I'd like to see Richarlison through the middle again, because on the left he's not been playing his best football, and when he moved to the middle against Spurs, he did really well. Iwobi I'd like to see as well, because it sounds strange because I've been one of his biggest critics, but I've actually enjoyed watching Iwobi this season. I think he offers quite a lot down that right hand side, especially when I think he's a bit better when Holgate's there as well, because Holgate's a bit better. Obviously, Seamus Coleman's been a bit iffy this season, with his pace maybe getting caught out at times. So it'd be good to see Iwobi there when he's not got to do as much tracking back. James Rodriguez, is he going to save him for City? Is he going to play him against Fulham? We're not sure. Allen should be back up to full fitness now, but it wouldn't surprise me if he left him out for another game. With how well Davis played, playing him in the number 6. Sigurdsson as well had a really good performance, and I think we're lucky now, Terry, that we're at that point where Carlo's got a player for the positions, and if there's a player that can't play, he's got another player that comes in, which with our squad depth you wouldn't expect. But he's got Josh King to come in across all the front line, because we know we can play on the wing. We've got, if Rodriguez isn't fit, he drops Sigurdsson in, and that would have struck fear into the hearts of Evertonians last season, but been playing pretty well so far. We've won we won last night against Tottenham. Got a draw at United, and obviously the win at Leeds without Allen. With Gomez or Davis coming into the team. Doucouré's been a monster. He's absolutely undroppable, and I think he'll play the majority of seasons. There's been some great tweets about Doucouré. Seen one saying Doucouré still lives in Watford and runs home after the game. Another one about after Tottenham, he was sat in the dressing room asking if Fulham have turned up yet. So obviously there's Ben Godfrey there as well. So I don't know. There's enough squad rotation to go around, which for a team with not much squad depth is really promising for me. Any Fulham players you think we need to look out for? Because you mentioned Mola Luckman there. Had a pretty up and down time at Everton. I remember a lot of fans got behind him. I was one of those. I wanted to see a bit more of him. The managers who he played under didn't like him as much. I think Allardyce played him a little bit. Koeman played him a little bit. I think Koeman signed him, and Silva just did not favour him at all. So, what? Any Fulham players you think we really need to be out on the look for?
Honestly, it's an obvious one with Mitrovic. He's got a good record against us, and he's a big brute of a player. And we always, traditionally, hopefully it's changing, but we traditionally struggle against those big presence players. I'm not saying he'll, score loads of goals past us, but he'll cause us problems if he starts, I think.
Yeah, there's been a couple this season when I have watched Fulham that I've quite fancied the look of. Harrison Reed seems to be a tricky little player in midfield. Luckman as well, as long as he doesn't get a penalty. I'm probably cursing my words here, but as long as he doesn't get a penalty, he should be.
He won't be on the penalty if he gets one, mate.
No.
He'll never go on a penalty ever again.
There's players like Cavallero, don't know if they're fit. Joe Bryan, if he starts at fullback, I remember he was linked with Everton when he was back at Bristol City, I think under Martinez. So they've got a couple of players that can hit us. We know they'll set up they'll be pretty organised. They'll know their way of playing when they come in. And I think going back to Fulham, if we were expecting them to get relegated, I don't think it's the end of Scott Parker's time there, because I think if they're going to improve, I think they need to stick with Parker, because I think he has showed a bit of promise this season as a manager, and you've got to remember he's very, very young for a manager anyway. Terry, finally, can I trouble you for the score prediction?
Go with 2-0.
I'll go with 3-1. I'll say,
Everton, obviously.
yeah, I'll say 3-1 because I think we'll score goals, but I can't see us after the other night. I'm a bit I'd be a bit optimistic saying that I think we keep a clean sheet, but we've been good, being pretty good defensively this season, apart from obviously the 4 goals we let in the other night. But yeah, hope you have enjoyed it. Leave us your score predictions in the comments down below. Obviously, like the video if you haven't already and you enjoyed it. And subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. Here's hoping that Everton do the business against Fulham on Sunday. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.